Ghidorah versus Godzilla, a fight that's been shown multiple times throughout Godzilla media, whether it's from the Showa, Heisei, or even Millennium era. Godzilla has seemingly always come out on top. With the release of Godzilla King of the Monsters, we saw yet another take on the three-headed Hydra versus our boy Godzilla, and the outcome was honestly quite uncertain. While Godzilla did eventually defeat Ghidorah by entering his thermonuclear state, fight was far from lopsided in Boston and Antarctica. Hello everyone, I'm FDA, and I'm here to discuss how close was Godzilla vs. Monster Zero in the Monsterverse. Before we start, let's go over some history. Ghidorah goes by various different names. Some of these include
Ghidorah, the one who is many.
The three-headed dragon,
Surpass the thrills of Ghidorah, the three-headed monster.
Monster Zero, and many more. Monster Zero, just like in previous eras, is an extraterrestrial being.
A false king.
Quote, Ghidorah is an evil alien dragon who invaded Earth in the ancient past. King Ghidorah clashed with Godzilla and Mothra, who succeeded in sealing him away beneath the Antarctic ice. As we've seen in various cave paintings, Ghidorah in ancient times had battled Godzilla before, but he wasn't without help, being aided by none other than Mosura, queen of the monsters. This ancient battle led to what we see in the beginning of King of the Monsters, with Ghidorah being sealed in ice. Now, we might get some more information on this with GXK due to Shimo, but that's a discussion for another time. Clearly, Godzilla and Ghidorah have some history, and it started back up once again in Antarctica and Boston. Now, let's get on to the fight. As Ghidorah awoke from the ice, we can see him investigating his surroundings. This was short-lived, as Godzilla had sensed this disturbance and was booking it towards Outpost 32. After standing off and exchanging roars, the battle commenced. Despite Ghidorah just waking up, he fared his own, going blow for blow, only retreating after Godzilla got backed by the US military and the Argo. This moves us to our second encounter, this one far more brief. Off the coast of Isla de Mara, Ghidorah and Godzilla face off a second time in King of the Monsters. This time, Godzilla leaping out of the water and dragging him down. In the entire film, Ghidorah looked his worst. If not for the military's decision to launch the oxygen destroyer, Ghidorah would have been dead then and there, but instead, it's safe to say, Godzilla is leagues better than Ghidorah in the water. Ghidorah looks like a fish out of water in this scenario. Now, we can finally get to the meat of the battle in Boston. Both kaiju are completely fresh. Godzilla, amped by a nuclear warhead, and Ghidorah, having plenty of time to regenerate and prepare. As the two titans stare each other down, the fight commences. Throughout most of the battle in Boston, it's quite even. Just as in Antarctica, both are going back and forth. However, just like in ancient times, Mothra is there to aid Godzilla in battle once again. With Ghidorah occupied by Godzilla's atomic breath, Monsterverse is able to ensnare Ghidorah onto the building. Godzilla was able to take advantage and slams Ghidorah through the building. Now, here's where things get interesting. Ghidorah takes notice of an electrical power line nearby and clamps down on it, absorbing the energy and evening the playing field with his own amp. With Mothra occupied by Rodan, Ghidorah is easily able to take the advantage. Grabbing a hold of Godzilla, who weighs a whopping 99,634 tons, he's able to lift him up to the stratosphere with ease and drop him down. Ghidorah has seemingly won with Godzilla in critical condition. Monsterverse is critically wounded herself and notices Godzilla's poor state. Mothra's gimmick of laying an egg before going off to battle allows her to sacrifice herself and give Godzilla her remaining life source. Ghidorah, just like in Final Wars with Kaiser Ghidorah, is able to absorb the energy from Godzilla. Ghidorah had the battle won, Godzilla in his jaws, having the life sucked out of him. But unfortunately for Ghidorah, Emma Russell was there with the Orca in hand to lure him away to buy enough time for Godzilla to go thermonuclear. With her sacrifice, Godzilla was able to go thermonuclear and completely incinerate Ghidorah, leaving him victorious. Now, let's go back and analyze some more. Let's start off with size. Ghidorah is clearly the larger of the two, displaying this size advantage in their initial confrontation. Standing at 158 meters on height and weighing 141,000 tons, Ghidorah not only had the height advantage, but the weight as well. Let's move on to regeneration. Godzilla was shown to have already started regenerating the wound dealt by Kong on his left thigh from the axe as it was already scabbed up. Godzilla is also able to regenerate over a period of time at a faster rate when he's near radiation, as seen when Godzilla returns to his lair after being in critical condition thanks to the oxygen destroyer. Ghidorah's regeneration is on a whole different field. He was able to regenerate his head in mere seconds, and the visible holes in his wings after using his wing lightning was seen instantly regenerating shortly after taking damage. Ghidorah easily takes regeneration. Strength. With the initial clash in Boston as they ran towards each other, it's clear Godzilla is the stronger of the two, being able to hold back Ghidorah and throw him around. What Ghidorah has over him is lifting strength, easily being able to lift Godzilla and drop him from extreme height. While Godzilla was able to fully stand with Budo Prime on his back, it isn't as impressive as Ghidorah picking up Godzilla with ease. Next, let's go over speed and agility. Agility would go to Godzilla, but not by much. While Godzilla is able to maneuver around quite effectively, as seen in his fight against Kong, Ghidorah is able to twist and turn with efficiency, being able to wrap around and move so fast as to even avoid Godzilla's atomic breath. In the speed aspect, Godzilla and Ghidorah are both equal on land, as seen when charging at each other in the initial confrontation in Boston. However, what gives Ghidorah the slight edge over Godzilla is that Ghidorah was able to blitz Godzilla with his flight speed and slam onto him before picking him up. Why didn't he do this more often during the fight, I may ask? That's something to ask Michael Dougherty. Ranged weaponry is a main factor in this fight. On Godzilla's side, we have his atomic breath and Ghidorah with his gravity beams. Godzilla's atomic breath was seen to push Ghidorah back over 1,000 meters and leave visible burns on his gold-plated skin. Godzilla was also able to blast a hole through basically half of the entire Earth, reaching down to the hollow Earth where Kong was. Ghidorah's gravity beams don't appear to be on this level of power, but can be charged up much faster. Ghidorah's gravity beams were able to knock over and push Godzilla into the ice he arose from. A single head was able to incapacitate Rodan for a short period of time, and finally, over a short time period, when concentrated, were able to completely disintegrate Mothra, who was in a weakened state. Overall, Godzilla easily takes the edge in ranged weaponry, as there's just more to go off of for his atomic breath. This brings us to our last category, with defensive capabilities. Both Ghidorah and Godzilla have been shown to be somewhat irritated by military firepower, but this has been quite inconsistent. In regards to Godzilla, he'll be somewhat irritated by military firepower, but this has been inconsistent as well. In regards to Godzilla, he'll take on full nuclear blasts and have no reaction. But something like a missile will warrant a response of irritation. Ghidorah is quite similar in this aspect. When having missiles rain down on him from incoming fighter jets, he'll show visible signs of irritation, pulling up his wing as a shield. At some times, he'll shrug it off like nothing happened, or it'll simply just bounce off of him. I'm not saying Godzilla and Ghidorah are hurt by conventional weaponry, just pointing this fact out. Ghidorah was shown to have visible burns from Godzilla's atomic breath, which burns at an insane 500,000 degrees Celsius, but seemed to shrug it off with almost no difficulty. He took multiple blows from Godzilla, ranging from tail whips to being thrown.
Whatever Shirazawa did to...
Most impressively, he was able to take thermonuclear pulses before being just downright executed. Now, there's one slight inconsistency. When Godzilla releases his thermonuclear pulses against Ghidorah, the buildings around him are shown to stay intact and remain upright. You could then technically say that buildings are more durable than Ghidorah, but that's just not plausible as we've seen from other feats. Anyways, I'd say that both of these kaiju are pretty equal in the durability aspect, but I'd give the slight edge to Godzilla. With a final score of 4-4, it appears we have a tie. As the title says, we're analyzing how close this battle is, and it's insanely close, but I have to give the win to Monster Zero. When Godzilla had defeated Ghidorah in ancient times, it was with the aid of Mothra. In Boston, an amped Godzilla was able to go blow for blow with Ghidorah, but never found himself on top of the fight until Mothra had ensnared Ghidorah on the building. When Ghidorah had evened the playing field with his own amp, he was able to easily turn the battle in his favor. With all that being said and done, this leaves Ghidorah our victor in this battle. This fight is insanely close, but Ghidorah would most likely take the win 6 or 7 out of 10 times. If you made it this far into the video, consider subscribing and dropping a like if you'd like to see more content like this. I want to take a moment to thank my Final Wars members, Trashcan, Sharon Russell, and Ohio Mothman. Most importantly, I want to thank my Manila X members, Machine White Gaming, J Gaming, Magic Squid, Keith, Isaac, Coromir, MS Gaming, Cash G, Vorps, Sunny OMG, and 478 Football. And thank you so much to Godzilla Guy for helping me whenever I needed to find a reference or needed a second opinion. Well, this has been FDA, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
I created a monster, 'cause nobody wants